Hello lovely people and a very warm welcome. This ball dress was made for a 4-year-old and I worked with these measurements, and my simple tools are here for this illustration. I'll be using this hard net, which is 1 yard. I'll be using 1.5 yards of satin, 1.5 yards of lace, and 4 yards of tulle or light net. Okay, I'll be using an invisible zipper as well for the back closure. I already have a video on kids bodice pattern on my channel. You can refer to that after watching this video. So straight ahead, we'll just draft the high-low peplum pattern. So for the high-low peplum, we would like the front to be 7 inches and the back panel will be using 11 inches. So to draft that, I've placed this pattern paper on fold, and that will cover the entire circumference of the high-low peplum. So I'll apply my 7 inches, which is what I'll be using for my front panel. I've applied that here. Now the waist circumference of this dress is 25 inches. So we'll divide 25 inches by 6.28, and that will give us 3.98 inches. Now we'll approximate that to 4 inches, and that's what we're going to apply to derive the waist circumference. So I will apply 4 inches here. So this becomes our midpoint for the peplum. Now from this midpoint, we'll also apply 4 inches, which will cover for the back panel. Okay, so this will be the back side of our peplum and this will be the front of our peplum. So from this midpoint I marked, I'm going to measure 4 inches around it. Okay, so I'm measuring 4 inches around the 4 inches I marked earlier. Okay, so that's my midpoint, and we're going round to derive the waist circumference. Once I've done this, I will apply my back pattern. Okay, so for the back I'll be using 11 inches. Now I've marked 11 inches there, and I'm going to mark 11 inches to this midpoint. So we're marking 11 inches. Then from the front, I'm going to mark my 7 inches as well. So once I get to this midpoint here, I'll increase it a little bit to 9 inches. Okay, so I've increased it a little bit, and I'm going to blend it up with the back piece. Okay, so it's 7 inches from the front. Then as you progress, you increase it to 9 inches. Then you now meet at the point where we marked 11 inches and connect it up to the back. So now you can just blend up the front and the back at this point so it doesn't get protruded. So just blend it up a little bit to the back. So here is the pattern. This is the front and this is the back. So I've sewn the shoulders of the front and back bodies. Okay, that's it. I've also sewn the shoulder of the lining piece. So I'll just place this with the right side facing each other like this. Then I will sew at this point. Okay, I'll sew the necklines all round and sew the armholes as well. Then I'll also sew the zipper. The zipper allows just a little bit on the both sides. Okay, then I will do this and show you the outcome. That's the lining piece. I'll turn it inside out from this side. You can decide to under stitch or top stitch on the necklines, okay, to have a flat finish. Then you just iron this out. So once you've turned it out, you just sew the sides or the side seams, okay, using the 1 inch seam allowance that we left initially. So we'll just sew these points now. Hold it like this. Hold the 2 armholes points together like this and sew like this all around. Okay, then we'll do same to the other side. So the upper bodice is ready, and I'll set this aside. You can overlock this hem, okay, just to make it come out clean. So we'll work on the high-low peplum. To work on this, I've cut 2 pieces of my lining piece, okay, and 1 piece of the lace. So there are a total of 3 panels here. Okay, I'm doing this because I would like to conceal the seams. But if you're working with a fabric that is not lace, maybe you're working with fabrics that are not transparent, you may not need to cut 3 pieces of this. Just 2 would do. Okay, so I've cut these 3, and to sew them up, I will attach horsehair braid. This will make it a little bit firm, okay, firmer than it would be ordinarily. So I'll just attach the horsehair braid here and place hemming tape as well on the top of the horsehair braid, like so, and sew on the edges. I'll sew all the way around this peplum. Okay, now this peplum does not have any zipper allowance. After sewing it and turning it around, I'll now create my zipper allowance. At this point, I'll cut it and attach an extra fabric just to create the zipper allowance. But I want this to run round on the fabric. Okay, so let's sew the edges now, and I will show you the outcome. Then we'll continue with other parts of the dress. Okay, for the lower part of the dress, I'm using the dimensions of 75 inches by 18.5. Okay, so I derived this by multiplying the waist circumference by 3, so that was 75 inches. Then for the length, I took away the half length from the full length, so that's 27 inches minus 10 inches, so that was 17 inches, and I added 1.5 for the hemming allowance. Okay, so that was a total of 18.5. Now for the tulle, I'm going to cut 10 layers of these same dimensions. Okay, so we'll be having these same dimensions multiplied by 10. You can make yours more or less than the 10 layers, depends on the fullness or the thickness you want to achieve. Okay, once I've done my gathers and achieved my waist circumference plus the zipper allowance, I'll just locate the midpoint. Okay, so I've just pinned the midpoint in place here. Then I'll align it with the upper bodice. Okay, so this is the midpoint of this upper bodice, that's just at the front. I'll just align this point with this tool, okay, and pin it in place just at the inside. So I'll pin it here. I'll just align it and pin it. So I'll pin the tool and the inner piece of the skirt to that of the upper bodice. I'll just pin them all in place like this. Okay, so this is it. It goes like this. Then I will just keep aligning it. I'll align and pin in place. Okay, then I also align to the edge as well. So I'll align to this side and also to this side and pin them in place. Then I'll just sew around it to get the waistline done. For the last layer, which is going to be the hard net or the hard tulle, I'm going to plait this hard net on the edge of the other little piece of fabric we cut. Okay, so I'm going to plait it on this point. You can plait as much as you want. This will determine the fullness of the dress to give it some effects. Okay, so the more you plait, the fuller your dress will look. So I've done the plaits now, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so I'll attach this to the dress. This will be the inner piece. So here's our dress. Okay, and I'm going to attach that in here. So on the inner piece, I'll attach it facing out. So this will be the last part of this dress. As I would always do, you fold it into two and determine your midpoint, then attach it to the midpoint of this dress, which is here. So you attach it like this. Once you pin the midpoint in place, you will also need to fold each side into two and determine also the other point. Then you align this with the side seam, that's this point. You align it here and also pin it in place. This will guide you when making your pleats, just to create a balance inside. So at the other side as well, we'll have to do same. Align this, align it to the side seam and pin it in place. So finally, we'll now plait it. We'll start from this point and plait. We'll plait it round the waistline. Then we'll sew our zipper. Okay, we'll attach our zipper at the back, and that will be all for this dress. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please like this video and share with your loved ones. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification bell to get notified when I make another video. Thank you so much for sticking by, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.